Today is Wednesday, September 24th, and as I always say, it's a beautiful day to have a webinar. I'm John Yarrington, CEO of the Performance Marketing Institute, a 501c6 not-for-profit trade association dedicated to protecting, promoting, and advancing the direct-to-consumer and performance-driven marketing industries. And on behalf of the entire PDMI family, it's my pleasure to welcome you back for another fun-filled and exciting episode of the PDMI Take 20. As a reminder, the PDMI Take 20 is a quick-hitting roundtable discussion led by industry experts on trending topics, all in roughly 20 minutes. Today, we're joined by three absolutely amazing industry friends, including Ranjit Mulgaonkar of Flatworld Group, Jenny Parries of Division D, and Brian Young of Verde Payments. And together, we'll be taking a look at how big retail events like Amazon Prime Days, Walmart Deals, and TargetCircle Week affect the way performance brands manage their campaigns, media buys, and back-end housing. However, before we get started, please allow me to do a little housekeeping. If you'd like to ask a question, and we encourage you to do so, please use the questions tab located in your control panel. Also, please know you're welcome to ask questions throughout today's conversation, but we will hold all replies to the end of our discussion. Alrighty, folks. With that said, it's my pleasure to introduce today's moderator. He's the sultan of smooth segues. He's the fearless Chris Foster. Chris is Vice President of New Business at Modern Postcard, a direct marketing agency located in Carlsbad, California. In addition to his day job, Chris is the chairperson of the PDMI Brand Response Council, and he's the host of the podcast, Men Folks Journeys. And as always, Chris, it's a pleasure to have you here today. Thank you so much. And for the 123rd time, because today is the 123rd episode, take it away, my friend. Take it away.
Boom. I got it, Johnny. Thank you so much for that intro. That was fantastic. And what a fantastic panel of guests today talking about how e-retail events affect performance brands. So like Johnny mentioned in the intro, we've got Prime Days, we've got TargetCircle Week, we've got the Walmart 6-day sales. Look, these are very specific purchase moments, and they're pushes to drive consumers to buy at a certain time. They're kind of like Black Fridays of their own making. And I actually thought it was very clever. Everyone kind of had a calendar moment of Black Friday. Amazon was like, let's make our own Black Friday. And then everyone was like, that's a great idea. Let's make it too. And they count on this to connect with these customers and drive purchases and behaviors. And they're driving increased volume. For brands, these events can be seen either as a bonanza, getting the retailers to do all the selling for them, or it's a torpedo. Based on the kinds of discounts or offers or strategic plans they might already have in place. When so many brands now are at the mercy of these retailers for exposure and sales, the question is what kind of relationship they have to these big sale events. Is it love-hate? Are they frenemies? Do they love them and need them? Do they kind of wish they'd go away? Don't know, but they're here to stay. So we're gonna dive into this discussion. We've got masters of their crafts on our panel today, and really excited to talk about how brands play in this space with these massive sales events. So let's just start first by asking you guys to tell us a bit about yourself, your role, and what your business does. Jenny Parries, we'll start with you.
All right, thank you, Chris. I'm Jenny Parries, VP of Sales at Division D. We are a full-service digital media agency. We really help brands connect with their audiences across channels like CTV, streaming audio, influencer marketing, programmatic display, and more. My role really centers on building strategic partnerships and helping clients navigate the complexities of digital media so they can reach the right people at the right time and actually get measurable results.
Perfect. Ranjit, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Ranjit. I'm the CEO and founder of Flatworld Group, which is a full-service Amazon and TikTok management service company. Our clients are typically brands who don't want to hire a whole Amazon team or learn about new TikTok technologies. So they just come to us and we manage their business for them. I've been in e-commerce and specifically marketplaces for the last 25 years, including 4 years at Amazon.
Fantastic. Brian, you're up.
So I'm Brian Young, president of Verde Payments. Verde Payments is a payment processor for moving the money and getting the cash from the consumers for the people that have their wares to sell. We've been in the processing business a little over 15 years, deal with a lot of merchant that have good businesses. Some of us need some help, but we definitely do see the consumer side of a lot of this, and really love PDMI and the members of PDMI because they're it's a good family and ecosystem to be a part of.
And is the most important leg of that third leg of stool is getting the money, making sure that happens. So let's dive into the discussion, you guys. So Ranjit, I'd like to start with you. You just mentioned you spent 4 years at Amazon, and your business Flatworld group really focuses on Amazon and now TikTok. So from Amazon's perspective, how important is Prime Days in their annual planning and their calculus for their sales?
Well, it's super important. I mean, we prepare for Prime Days now twice a year, obviously, months in advance, because Prime Day, it can generate significant amount of revenue. Typically, we see 30 to 40% increase in sales just in the 5 days of Prime Days as compared to the previous 30 days. The conversion is also super high. It increases about 25%. Conversion increases 25% during the Prime Day. That means people are buying, not only clicking on listing, they're actually buying the product. In general, the negative part about Prime Days is obviously you have to offer super discounts, in some cases up to 40 to 50% discount. So although you may be getting a lot of sale, profitability is something that you have to consider. In addition to the Prime Day, then you have the Q4, right? You got the Black Fridays, Cyber Monday, all of that stuff. We see about 70 to 80% increase in sales in Q4 as compared to the Q1, Q2, Q3. So it is very important, obviously, for Amazon, but it's also super important for our clients.
Roger. No, that's interesting because you've got these. It's almost like the big season of Q4, but then these small little mini seasons of Prime Days is kind of like these large things that you're working towards. So Jenny, I've got a question for you. You work with a ton of different brands. They have to get. Actually, I don't know. I guess the question is, are they caught up in this tsunami of these sales events? And if so, what do they tell you about them?
Yeah, definitely. Many of our, retail CPG clients, these tentpole sales events are a double-edged sword. It is the tide that is rising all ships, but it does generate a huge spike in consumer demand. But the level of competition and discounting can make it feel like a race to the bottom. What we hear most often is concern over two things: share of voice and the customer quality. Yes, the volume is there, but are they acquiring the customers who will stick around at full price or later? Or are they just training the shoppers to only buy when the product is on sale? That's where we come in, helping clients separate the hype from the strategy. We make sure that their campaigns aren't just chasing clicks during the events, but are actually set up to capture things like first-party data, retargeting effectively, and nurturing those customers into loyal buyers. The brands that succeed don't just play defense during the sales tsunami. They use it as an on-ramp into long-term customer value. Really, when you're thinking about compressing your margin for the sake of competing, you start to build it into your customer acquisition costs. Can we make this person a long-time customer of ours? Can we potentially upsell them for accessories or replacements, or make them a kind of an auto ship type of client? So that's where you have to look at it from a bigger picture perspective when you're dealing with these type of tentpole events.
I love it. That's a great answer. I guess my question for you is, do you have a read on the percentage of folks that move into becoming a brand-centric purchaser instead of just moving towards Amazon or Target, where they can create stronger lifetime value beyond that one purchase in the sale event?
It's a great question. I don't have the percentage in front of me, but I know that we've seen averages of retention around 35 to 40%, extending even beyond the holiday season. So it certainly can be very valuable. While you're not going to capture every consumer every time, it's still a meaningful way of acquisition and extending beyond just this particular event.
Yeah, I want to get back to you on that, because I think it can be seen as just yet another channel with all of its risks and rewards that are part of it. But Brian, I'd like to jump into you. You've got over 5,000 customers. You process over $1 billion per month. It's that part of this stool that's so critical. I'm sure that you see sales coming through during the events time. Do you see that in terms of the volume of sales during these moments? And are you sensing that is it a shift or is it a lift of business?
So it's a little bit of both, and I think Jenny brings a great point by talking about how you kind of play offense or defense. Many of the different types of customers or merchants that we have that are in this ecosystem. Depending on the way they're playing is depending on what we see. We see a lot of people that are just trying to play defense are actually losing customers. So a lot of the times they will see a customer that's maybe hesitant on a product. They've been thinking about buying it or thinking about subscribing, and they see, well, I can get it from Amazon or Walmart or whomever, and those known entities have very strong refund policies. Like, if you don't like it, just put it in a box or take it to the UPS store and take it back. And some people, view Amazon as a 30-day rental program, so to speak. So, if somebody's a little hesitant on a product or service that they're buying, they kind of look at those timeframes to go to the bigger people. So those defensive customers are losing. The ones that do play offense, we can see that they are building not only that, but the customers that they do win from a brand standpoint, they do build much more loyalty to for that relationship.
That's great. No, I love that approach. And I want to touch on what, Jenny, you had mentioned about consumer behavior. And Ranjit, I will ask you, do you think that these sales events create a customer expectations? Do we as people and as purchasers and as buyers wait until these moments to buy certain products?
I would say yes, because I can tell that from my personal experience. I want to buy something. I know that the Prime is around the corner. I'm just going to wait, because why wouldn't I get 50% discount? Especially electronics, clothing, home appliances, toys, beauty, and most of the Amazon hardware. If you want to buy any of those, even most consumer would wait, especially Amazon hardware.
Baseball tip, you heard it here first on PDMI. Amazon hardware, wait for Prime days.
Yeah, smart speakers, headphones, laptop, tablets, all kinds of Amazon Alexa stuff. It's super discounted. It's a ridiculously low price. So why would you pay full price? The smart customers, I'm not saying every customer is going to wait. Some of them are saying, okay, I'm going to shop early because there are deals. Although Prime deals are coming around the corner, a lot of our customers will put deals on the table before Prime. So some people might say, hey, I'm going to do early shopping, and get a deal anyway. Some people might say, hey, I want to buy Amazon hardware or Amazon devices. I'm just going to wait. Some people might say, I'm going to use a price tracker like Camel, smart ones. And they are like monitoring price, really savvy customers, right? Some people might just say, hey, Amazon has a sale. What does Walmart have? Target have? But in general, I think the reason why these events are so successful is people are waiting. There's a pent-up demand for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess, Jenny, I'll ask you a question for the brands. You mentioned that they try to convert some amount, right? Some percentage of these customers, they know they're going to Amazon. They can't get the first-party data that way, but they're trying to figure out a way to connect with those customers and bring them back to their own website to purchase directly. How do you advise, because that's the strategy, but from a tactical standpoint, how do you advise your clients to do that? What can they practically do to get someone who purchases their product on Amazon to pull them into their own ecosystem?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's all about an omni-channel experience. You really have to hit them in multiple places and make it a cohesive message. Your social media presence should be consistent with your CTV promotions. I think making sure that you're getting in front of that consumer in a consistent messaging, it does help. In addition to that, retargeting, making sure that you're reminding that customer that they left something in their cart or there's a promotion that they do want to take advantage of. Those type of cohesive messages are really, really critical. And one place that we've really seen a lot of growth too is in influencer marketing. It's absolutely critical to have that authentic voice. I think that more and more consumers are actually listening to voices that sound familiar to them, that they resonate with, that they connect with. So I think not just the beautiful polished ads, the retargeting, but it's actually folding in some of that influencer authentic messaging. I mean, we saw Unilever dedicate 50% of their entire marketing budget all to influencer marketing. So when you see one of those, you know, gigantic organizations taking that kind of step forward, you can see that the investment makes sense. So I think it's really about connecting all of the dots and making sure that consumer experience is not only authentic, but they're seeing it in multiple places.
Right, that makes a lot of sense. So I guess, Brian, I'd like to move to you on this, is that Jenny just mentioned that, you know, they're with retargeting and with other types of omnichannel marketing, you know, the brands can connect. Ranjit had mentioned even doing sales, kind of preempting the Amazon sales. What do you see as brands doing to create their own sales events? Do you think that they can do this like Amazon, to say, we're going to have our own fall event, we're going to have our own spring event? I think that there are some brands that do that, where, I mean, the most obvious example is Nordstrom, right? They have, you know, their Nordstrom days where they've got, you know, they line it up, and they don't really fall in line with the same Amazon and Target. Yeah, it's a different customer per se. I would argue, though, that a lot of customers like ourselves, we shop at Target and we shop at Nordstrom. And Nordstrom has created an event that we're prepared for. Do you think other brands can do something like that?
So, you know, it's funny because we've seen a lot of different tactics when it comes to this, especially on the checkout experience side, right? Because that's where we really pick up and get involved. There is a merchant that we have that makes hardware that is also sold on Amazon, yet to be named, won't name them. They sell their hardware on Amazon. It is discounted during Prime Days, but they also have it advertised on their website as a Prime Days deal. And they have kind of an A/B testing for where they check out, whether they check out and click. Actually, it's ABC. So it's either the checkout sends them to an Amazon checkout page where it's fulfilled by Amazon. They have another one that is pay with Amazon, because we can accept Amazon Pay as a payment option, just like Google Pay and Apple Pay. And then they have ones that's their own. So 2 out of 3, if they can get the consumer to convert to one of those, thinking that they're participating in a Prime Day when they're actually not, they're getting the direct sale, they avoid a lot of those big fees that the fulfillers charge.
I think that's a very clever approach, and that's a way to, I think that, Jenny, you had used that phrase, which I like, playing offense or playing defense, right? That's an offensive strategy, getting ahead of that. I love it. So not only do we have the Prime Days that we're just talking about, but Ranjit, earlier in the show, you talked about Q4. It's such a massive portion where you said 70 to 80% of an increased sales happen in Q4 versus other quarters. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to go around the table and ask you all about what Q4 looks like, right? Because we've got different strategies that brands can employ to be successful in Amazon or TikTok or Walmart going into the holiday season. Jenny, you had mentioned influencer marketing. I guess we'll start with you. Alongside influencer marketing, because clearly that's going to be an important strategy and tactic that they use, what else can brands do to really take advantage of Q4?
Yeah, great question. You know, I think the brands that are going to win are going to be the ones that integrate the storytelling with the performance. On Amazon, it might be optimizing for retail media and product reviews. TikTok, it's leaning into that creator universe. It's really about authentically showcasing that product, right? Walmart, Target, it's geo-target. It's omni-channel campaigns that connect in-store and online. And across the board, it's about meeting the consumers where they are and building a plan that's not just about winning the day, but capturing that long-term loyalty in a crowded marketplace. That's where you can justify the compression of margin. That's where you can really start to build your customer base a lot further than just these tentpole events.
Actually, that's a wonderful headline. Don't just win the day, win the customer. I love that. That's excellent. Ranjit, what do you got for brands going into Q4?
Well, we usually we've already started working with a lot of our clients. The most important part is inventory planning, because you don't want to have tons of inventory sitting on Amazon after the event is over. So we do a lot of sophisticated inventory forecasting and making sure that our customers have product ready to ship to Amazon FBA, or actually if they have to get parts, we give them a heads up so they have to get ingredients or components to create the product. We also ask them to have a backup for Amazon FBA, which is our primary recommendation, is Prime. But as a seller fulfill, in case you run out of inventory, you have a seller fulfill. So although you may not get as much conversion, but you still have inventory, so you don't run out of stock. The other area we tell our clients is advertising. Submit Prime deals. So Amazon has a lot of these rules and regulation. So does Walmart and Target. So you have to prepare really 2 months in advance to decide how much discount you're going to offer, which products you're going to promote. Lightning deals for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And then the last one is, refresh your listings, because the listings get stale after a while. So we would, redo the A+ store, A+ page, where the holiday with Santa Claus, having some coal on his sleeve for a product that protects from stain, that kind of stuff. Same thing with the storefront. I think one most important thing that we do is we do profitability analysis. Like Jenny said, you can sell a lot of product, but you don't make any money. As it is, Amazon fees are pretty high. So we usually look at, should we create bundles? Should we create multi-packs? Because your average order value goes up, but your cost for fulfillment stays the same. So those are the kind of things we do. And then the last one is we monitor the ad spend on Amazon, because it can literally eat up all your profit. So we have teams monitoring your return on ad spend on daily basis and fine-tuning what they're doing.
So a question for you then, but that's excellent, Ranjit. Those are very practical, tactical nuggets that you just dropped. I should say pearls. But a question about inventory. Are the tariffs impacting inventory calculations right now?
It depends on where the product is made. Half of our clients produce their product in the USA. They're manufactured in USA. Some of their components are coming from Germany and Korea and other places. So their raw material costs will get impacted over time. The customers who are shipping product from China are in a difficult situation, because all of a sudden
I'm sorry. I was waiting for what word you were pausing and waiting to figure out what word you were going to use, what adjective you were going to use. Yeah. Difficult situation. Excellent. I'll put that in air quotes.
I don't want to be banned from your webinar next time, so I didn't use the choice. No, the cost of goods goes up, right? Because they're literally shipping product from China. They can't increase the price of the product because the consumers won't buy it. So yeah, it's impacting the clients that are shipping products from China. And you can already see Amazon prices. I monitor prices on different items on Amazon. They're going up.
Yeah, I can see that. Fantastic. Brian, what do you got for us?
I think a lot of the strategy is going to be multi-pronged. With any problem that you have, especially in this business, right? There's no one knob that you turn. It's going to be a lot of adjusting and figuring out based on what it is that you're selling, the clientele that you're selling. I really love that idea that the other company did with multiple checkouts on their page, promoting and writing the advertising that Amazon and everybody's doing. Because a lot of those orders you won't have to pay Amazon for, right? You still can, get the benefit of some of their promotion and advertising. And, as Ranjit said, the fulfillment costs are astronomical. That can help with a lot of it. And I think in general, from a brand standpoint, you had talked about frenemies. That's exactly it, right? Embrace it, start in advance, promote it. Even one day before, say, hold off, don't buy till today, wait till tomorrow. I mean, that's kind of a bad thing because you got somebody wanting to buy, but you can adjust the pricing and make sure that it gets associated. But being able to build the hype and get that value out of the customer, especially if they're transacting with you, right? Because it's a stronger connection to keep that customer.
Right.
Getting a customer is tough, but keeping them is a lot tougher.
True. Wonderful. And actually, we all know that keeping a customer is the key to profitability, because marketing to your existing customer is always less expensive than trying to get a new one. Alrighty, well, as we said, this was gone in an eye blink. We're already 11:25. Johnny, do we have questions from the audience?
Chris, yes, indeed we do. We have an active audience. We've got a couple of good ones. Let me throw the first one at you. Let's start with a competitive question. Have Target and Walmart really dented Amazon's dominance in the sales event space? And if not, how can they?
I'll jump in there. I think that they have certainly taken away some of the attention. I think where Amazon is going to continue to win is, as Ranjit put it, is really with their own proprietary products, right? The Alexa brand products, the Amazon type products. That's where it could be a little bit challenging for Target and Walmart to start to compete. But now there is divided consumer attention, right? So now they're looking in Walmart, they're looking at Target, they're seeing and they're comparing it versus really it was almost like a vacuum. Prime Day, all the attention was specifically on one particular retailer. I think that they're going to continue to compete by doing things like that bundling products, like offering the subscription base for accessories and for refills and things like that. So I think that you're going to continue to see consumer fragmentation, but I do think that they're going to continue to be successful. They have the consumer attention, and especially if you do have a preference to pick it up, I think Walmart and Target have a little bit more of an advantage when it comes to picking up those orders. If you need it same day, it's a different type of experience, although Amazon is incredibly fast and they do have some outlets like Amazon Fresh where you can pick up some items. I think Target and Walmart are slightly different, where it's a little bit more of that brick and mortar, more specific to that consumer walking in and potentially getting those goods same day. So I think that there's, enough room for everybody, but I think each particular pillar of brand and organization, they have their own enticing ways of keeping that consumer attention.
Chris, can I make a quick comment? I know that we are all primarily focused on the big retailers, Amazon, Walmart, Target, but do not ignore TikTok. They have a completely different model. And what we do is we actually use Amazon to fulfill TikTok products. So we don't even have to create another fulfillment center. Amazon will happily ship TikTok products to you. They don't show up Prime, but they show up in 3 to 4 days. So it's a different model than the others, and something to keep an eye on.
Well, what I like about that comment, Ranjit, is that you can see the breadth of Amazon's influence, right? So it's not just the e-commerce experience, it's also the product set, it's also the selling set, but it's also the fulfillment set, right? So they can even have product from other businesses that they don't do anything about except fulfill, because they're so good at the fulfillment. And that's actually a really nice combination, I would think, where you get the influencer marketing, which lowers your advertising costs for TikTok, the broad reach from TikTok, the better margins for TikTok, but the expertise of fulfillment from Amazon. So it's actually pairing the strengths of each of those retail channels.
Yeah, I think one quick comment is I attended the Amazon Accelerate conference in Seattle a couple of weeks ago. It's a 3-day conference. And what was very clear that Amazon is going to take components of their entire infrastructure and basically make it available to other companies, including competitors. And they can use the Amazon special sauce, whether it's payment, whether it's fulfillment, whether it's some other component, global logistics. Now you can use that. You don't have to use the whole Amazon. You can just use one piece of it. And I think that's one of their going to be their competitive advantage. That is basically opening up the toolbox and letting other people, including their competitors, use it.
Makes sense to me.
Great answers, guys. Appreciate the feedback. Thank you very much. Let's move on to a second question here. This one's more of an evolving tactics question. Have you seen brands take an alternative approach to these days? For example, deliberately not participating in any of these events and still finding success through counter programming?
I mean, I think I've seen that more with small businesses, things that are more specialty, niche. I think that there is a little bit of a counter, I guess, promotion out there of more quality over quantity, things that are going to be very specific to the type of value that that particular product is demonstrating. And so there is some participation where, you know, shop small. I think that that's a big initiative that we see kind of combating against the big businesses. I think that there are individuals from a consumer standpoint that would rather shop small. And so they lean into that type of messaging versus competing. And again, a race to the bottom isn't always fit to every type of business. So you certainly see business combat that with a different approach, more client facing, more customer focused. I think that's where they're going to win, and where we kind of see other small businesses start to lean against this because they just can't compete with the big boxes.
Makes good sense. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Let me sneak in one more question here, and this is for all three of you. So feel free to jump in if you wish, and if you want to pass, that's okay as well. Kind of a perspective question. It says, for each of you, from your perspective, what is one key piece of advice you're sharing with clients about succeeding in and around these retail events?
Well, we recommend all our clients, because it's partly because of my Amazon bias. You know, most of our business is Amazon and now TikTok. We tell all our clients participate. Obviously looking at profitability as the main thing, right? You don't want to lose money, but if you have margins, totally participate, because the Amazon Prime success also is your sales velocity is going to help you down the road. If you are selling a lot during Prime, you're going to continue to sell more than normal after the Prime, because Amazon algorithm is looking at your sales velocity and your reviews and saying, okay, this product, people are buying it, clicking it, and they're giving good reviews. So it helps you in your organic search ranking down the road.
Brian, I'll let you go. I've been talking too much.
No, that's fine. My view of this from the checkout process, it's to understand the ability to capture that point of sale. Using tools like Apple Pay and Google Pay helps people get transactions done, because if they forgot their wallet upstairs and they want to buy something, they're like, forget it, I'll do it later, or I'll forget, or whatever. Working on some of that impulse with stuff that people remember. I was at a Visa conference last year when we had talked about some new things that were coming around, and one of the questions was, does everybody remember every 16-digit credit card number in their wallet? Like, of course, one guy raised his hand because there had to be one, but nobody does. But everybody, has their face for an Apple Pay, or their Google ID, or their thumbprint for, an Android Pay, or whatnot, to be able to do that. So reduce that friction on getting those customers to convert to be customers, and don't make it tough to do business with you.
Great feedback. Thank you. Jenny, you're up.
All right. I will add a couple things there. So SKUs. It doesn't necessarily have to be promotions across every SKU. I would say take a look at the inventory. Take a look at which is your best product that more than likely is going to create that repeat customer. I think that there is definitely a way to lean in without completely crushing your margins, and making sure that you can capture that consumer's attention for a lot longer than this particular instance. And also, I'm a big component and really passionate about influencer marketing. So I think definitely blending that into your standard kind of media plan, I think will be critical to kind of win the day and the customer.
Fantastic. I'm going to come back in and join you guys. Here I am. What a great session. Ranjit, Jenny, Brian, Chris, great conversation today. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise, your experience, your knowledge on the subject matter. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as I did. Before we close out, I'd like to take a moment to invite you to join us for our next episode of the PDMI Take 20, hosted next week, October 1st, Wednesday, at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. I'd also like to remind you that PDMI's fall conference, PDMI West, is scheduled for just under 2 weeks out, October 6th through 8th, in beautiful San Diego at the fantastic Intercontinental Hotel. If you haven't got your badge yet, now's the time to do it. Don't wait any longer. It's not going to get any cheaper or easier. Just do it. You can get your badges online at www.thepdmi.com. That's thepdmi.com. And finally, as a reminder, class is in session. It is September and school is back in play. I'd like to encourage you all to take a look at the new PDMI University with 10 powerful courses. This online and on-demand program is designed to elevate your game. With that said, thanks so much, everyone. Looking forward to seeing you in person in San Diego. Appreciate you joining us here today, and we'll see you next time.